and I piece together from those borrowed items my approach so that I'm able to best construct and best develop titles for myself. Hey, what's up guys? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Bama Jaybird Resell. I'm Josh. So good to be with you again today. And this time we're going to be looking at two things. We're going to examine a little bit more about titles, and specifically we're going to look at the idea of borrowing information. That's an important concept, believe it or not. As a successful eBayer, it is important that you know where to go to get information that you don't have, and to make sure that your listings and your titles specifically stack up against the competition. Now, the other thing we're going to do today is what's sold, and we're going to be looking at 10 items that have sold, and they're going out for $368.82. So not a huge number of sales, not a huge dollar amount, but I'm happy with it. I mean, that's about $36 per item, so that's not too bad. I know that's not how much we're making off of it in net profit. I don't want to ever deceive anyone. Just know that that's not a horrible total, and we'll take it. It's better than nothing. Some people are getting goose eggs these days with the economy like it is. eBay seems to be struggling a little bit. We heard recently about the layoffs. We may talk about that in a future video. And so we know that they're downsizing somewhat. I think partly that's in response to the current economy, but I also think it's in anticipation of what may be coming because of that economy. Now, let's take a look at these 10 items. All right, so the first item, this is a Reynolds Made in USA snapback, kind of the trucker hat style. The letter here, the C, is stitched on, so it's really old fashioned. Very cool hat. Only got $7 plus shipping, but I'm into this for $1.99, and I just thought it was cool. It's hard to pass up a Made in USA trucker hat, even when it's that simple. Next item, we have another belt. So you know that I like belts. I like to, at least I say I like belts. I like to shop for belts and check those out. I find some pretty good scores. This one's not a huge money maker. This is pretty nice though. I like it. This is, I think, the Zeppelin belts, and this is a Made in USA one. This was a size 34, and it sold for $15 plus shipping, so that's not too bad. I was into that belt, I think, for $3, $2.99. Most of the time, the ones that aren't big name brands that they recognize are going to be $1.99, $2.99, $3.99. Sometimes if it's a name brand that the store recognizes, they may price it up at like $5.99. On those, you need to be careful unless you can run comps on it and know for sure, just like anything else, that it's got a good sell through and that you're probably going to be able to sell it for, like, say, $20 or more, preferably like $25 or more. You probably want to leave that one behind. All right, next up we have, guess what? A lot of CDs. Imagine that, right? So this is, let me find it right here. It's a set of rap. I don't know how well you can make out the titles there, but we got titles like Busta Rhymes, 50 Cent, LL Cool J, Violator, or artists such as those, Slick Rick. So a pretty eclectic mix. This is kind of the old school, and this sold 10 CD lot for $22. And I've got probably, these I got at the Goodwill. I probably got $10 in these. So I barely doubled up on those, maybe a little less than 10. Some of these I gave $1 for, some 50 cents. And I really bought these not wanting to scan them all because of the genre that they were. I knew there would be some good ones in it that would sell for $8 to $10 individually. And so rather than sit there and scan and scan and scan and scan, this was someone's collection. I think I bought like 50 CDs there the other day, and I just lotted the rest of them up, and I priced them at twice or more what I spent on them, and they're selling, so already. Next item, those of you that watch Jayride, you know he's really been a big proponent of parting things out, especially like kitchen appliances and stuff like that. This is the bowl or the cup for a Handy Prep Cuisinart, and I got $22 plus shipping for this. I just listed this last night. It sold overnight, again, on an offer for $22 plus shipping. Now, I gave $7.99 for the entire thing, and I got 2 or 3 listings out of that one item. Should be very profitable. Next item, I have a set of rap CDs again. How about that? Another set from what I bought at Goodwill. This includes people like Keith Murray, Kid Cudi, The Lox, Nature, Nas. If I'm saying some of those wrong, it's because I don't know them and I don't listen to rap, so don't hold that against me. But I think I got them mostly right. So next item going out, I think this is a Nutcracker. So it's not a real big one. You can't really see this. I may put a picture up so you can see it, but this is a Jim Shore Puppy Christmas Dog Nutcracker. And this is not the ornament. This is the one that's a little bit taller. I think this is like 6 inches. And I sold this for $25 plus shipping. And I was into this about $5 at a yard sale. All right, next item. This is another CD lot. Now this is from the storage unit buy. All right, so this is a little bit larger. I think this is 16 90s hard rock and metal CDs. Got artists like Jackal, White Line, Anthrax, Wasp, Kiss, Seven Dust. Okay, so a really cool lot there. I sold these 16 on offer for $30 plus shipping. So another good sale on those CDs. You'll notice with this video that I don't have any really big dollar sales. Sometimes I have a lot of smaller dollar sales and a couple of big ones that kind of bring the average up. On this one, most of them are kind of in that wheelhouse, $25 to $30, some just a little more. Next one. So my last What Sold video, I believe it was the last one or the one before, I had some Linux plates going out. It was the Linux Solitaire White. And this time I have that set of 4 cups that I also had with it. I've only got 2 in my hands, but there's 4 of these. These are brand new. They still got the tag on them. I got $30 plus shipping for this set of 4 cups. The same buyer that bought the plates came back and bought the cups as well. So those will be going out today. And like I said, I'm in pure profit on that. I bought several sets, little 4-piece sets of Linux at a yard sale. And I sold all the little box sets, the complete 4-piece sets, and these were some odds and ends. I think I got one more item back there that's still listed out of that I bought, and I've made a good bit of money. I think I paid $35 for everything, and I'm probably going to be like quadrupling, if not more, or 5 times my money. All right, next item. So I haven't sold one of my Nintendo 64 and Game Boy items in a while, but this one is a Nintendo Game Boy Color OEM link transfer cable. So this is how you connect the two of them, like 2 Game Boys together. And I sold this for $39.99 plus shipping. So isn't it amazing? I mean, you know, sometimes in a thrift store, if you walk by the bags where they got the little wires, you might not even think to look for stuff like this. And I didn't get this out of one of those. But I'm telling you, you never know when something like that may just be hanging out in a bag. So if you learn how to spot it, and you know, there's places on here where it says Nintendo, like on the ends where it plugs in, you probably can't see it, but it says Nintendo. So it's not hard to check. It says it on this part too, right there. So it's not hard to check. It's a cool thing to look out for. Power adapters, other cables and different things, sometimes they can be pretty valuable. That one, of course, is very valuable. $40 basically. That's awesome. So last item, this is a pair of Tommy Hilfiger vintage carpenter pants. So it's got the big flag part on the back. It's got the Tommy Hilfiger on the little hammer holder. And I think it had, yeah, it also has the stripe going across the back that says Tommy on it. So definitely a vintage pair. These are Y2K era. And I had these listed up around $75 and they haven't gotten much. I mean, I've had some watchers, haven't had any offers. I've sent out a few offers, haven't got any bites. And I had someone send an offer for $50. These have been in the store for probably 6 to 8 months. I might could have held on to them, dropped the price and made the sale somewhere between those two. But I decided it being a strong offer rather than counter back and risk losing the sale, I went ahead and took $50. I think I gave $6.99 for these. If I remember right, they were at, you know, one of the more expensive thrift stores. But like I said, at those thrift stores, it's okay to spend, you know, $6.99, $7, $8 on an item if you know that you're going to still be able to, you know, like sell it for 4 or 5 times what you're spending, and it's got a good sell through. Now, it's not like the sell through on these pants in particular is like super fast. But this being a vintage item, it's a really specialty market that's looking for it. And so there's not many of them listed. And then you got to find the person that wears the exact size. And this was a 30-30, so it's a smaller size. It had a couple stains. I listed all that, showed all that in the pictures. And I'm just glad to make the sale. $50 plus shipping going out the door today. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about our topic a little bit. So I've mentioned this before, but you've got to kind of put yourself in the buyer's shoes. So one thing I would say, and I know we're going to be talking about borrowing for your titles, but one thing I would say right up front is always keep that in mind. You know, if you are going on eBay yourself to search for an item that you want to purchase, think about how you would phrase your search. What would you type into the search bar? Now look, we probably know better how to search because we know better how to write titles, and so I can probably get better results than the average person, but just think as if you were the average person. What would you probably be typing in? And you know, what we got to make sure is that whatever we choose to put in our title, that what the average buyer is typing into the search bar, that there's going to be, a connection between our description, between our item specifics and our title, which is what we're talking about, and that will link it with that search criteria. All right. So that being said, one of the things that you want to do is go take a look at the item you're selling, but look at the sold versions. Go in and look at especially top rated sellers and how they have chosen to word their titles. Now look, I realize most of you out there are probably like me. You probably rarely write a title from scratch anymore because we have sell similar. But I hope you're also like me in this. You don't just go into eBay and click on the first item like yours no matter what the title says. If I get too aggressive like that, then I do end up having to retype the title or clear that out and go back and find a better one. So normally what we find ourselves doing, even as experienced resellers, is scouring through those top titles, those best looking titles at the top rated sellers, and trying to get a feel for what's common between them that seems to make these items sell when, say, there's 500 more on there that hasn't sold. What is it that's bringing them up in search results that's getting the buyer's attention? And so that's where we get into this borrowing. Yeah, sell similar is absolutely borrowing. You're borrowing all the work that's been done before you got there. But more than that, guys, you still want to be adaptable and you want to be willing to make changes if you think the way the title is arranged, or if you think that there's a better way to present it, or if you think there's maybe a keyword or term that needs to be added in place of something else. So pay very close attention. We all learn from each other. Don't be afraid to borrow from the top rated sellers on eBay. Now, another thing that I want to encourage you to do in this idea of borrowing to make good titles, there's all kinds of information out there. You can get online and Google and read about good titles for selling on these various platforms for reselling goods. But YouTube is probably one of the best, if not the best by far, resource that we have as a reseller to go and find information on these topics. I gave you a link to a video by Rachel Strickland in my last video. Guys, there are tons of videos out there by various resellers that are detailing what works for them. Now look, just because something works for me doesn't mean that you're going to agree or that it's going to work from you. But this is what I found through watching a lot of videos, reading a lot of blogs, paying attention to discussion boards and going into live chats and listening to what people are saying. I have been able to borrow a little here and a little there and a little here and a little there. And I piece together from those borrowed items my approach so that I'm able to best construct and best develop titles for myself. And yes, I may be building off the work of someone else, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to accept that work just like it is. I will see, just like when you buy a house and you go in, it might be beautifully framed and beautifully constructed, but you go in and, I don't like the molding. I don't like the carpet. I don't like the flooring. I don't like the color on the walls. And you begin to make changes to kind of tweak it and make it like you want it to be. So we can take that pattern, we can borrow from a reseller, but then take all those ideas that we've borrowed and accumulated from other resellers through YouTube and blogs and through all these other ways that we can access information, and then begin to make changes that make the title ours and, to the best of our ability, make it better and make it something that is searchable. Guys, I really appreciate it. It's been great being with you again today. Hope everyone's doing well. Don't forget, I love you. God loves you even more. And guys, whatever you do, don't give up. I'll see you on the next one.